We were learning the last few weeks, the last sugi what we learned, this man was the sugi of Stam Nazir Shloishim Yom. So we started last week to speak about the Indian of Stam Nazir Shloishim Yom. It's a Mishnah in Daf Hey Amud Aleph. The Mishnah says Stam Nazir Lamed Yom. It means someone is Mekabel himself Nazir Stam, and he didn't say how long will be this Nazirus. So he happens to be a Nazir for 30 days. Now, what is this Nazir? So we said there's two different ways to understand two different ideas behind it. Or it's umdane. The person does an Nazirus. The umdane is a Stam Nazir. If he didn't specify, he didn't say, he didn't speak out, he wants it for 30 days. Umdane da liebe that is Shloishim Yom. Many things we see as Shloishim Yom. So also this is might be also 30 days. Or no, Nazirus BMS is Shloishim Yom. Why? Because when a person Baal Koche becomes Shloishim Yom, means even if we know that his kavana was different, as we said, if a person does a Nazirus l'shah, Nazirus l'yom echad, Nazirus l'shavua echad, that is Shelton will be Baal Koche, he would say, on Nazirus Shloishim Yom. And as BMS we see in the Mishnah later on, right? Before Shloedian, that we said them Elchit Kalif on the base, that when ein rochin pochid Shloishim Yom, Moisif in Adoilom, ein ben Nazirus pochid Shloishim Yom, Moisif in Adoilom. The Mishnah speaks out of that. All kinds of things. What is the minimum is 30, and the maximum is Adoilom. No maximum, but Adoilom is among the things that also Nazirus. So we see there's two chidushim in this idea. Stam Nazirus is a Nazir that is fixed time. It's Kotzuv, it's Zman Kotzuv. And this Zman Kotzuv is Stam of Shloishim Yom. Now, as we said, when we speak about Stam Nedorim, so when we speak about the Neder Klape Nazir, so Nidrei Hegdesh and Nidrei Isu, so when a person Stam does a Neder, the Nedorim are not depend on a time. Bechlal, just what? It's a Neder Oilo. The person says, makes a certain Neder. Lo yoichal, yes oichal, lo yoichal. Yes being a kom, not being a kom. Even if the person does a Neder Lizman, it's not going to be this man. Right? Because the Klal Neder is Arei Olai. And even if a person says Arei Olai, it says that the Kedushas Haguf. And Kedushas Haguf lo yipok o bichadi, as the Gemara says in Nedorim Daf Ches, the big suge, Daf Lamed. And we still find that at the beginning of Masechet Nazir, when we talk about the hekesh of Nedorim to Nazirus, among all the things that the Gemara learns hekesh, the Gemara also learns hekesh that the saying like the father could be meifer nidrei bitoy, and Baal could be meifer nidrei shtoi. The same thing also Nazirus, the father could be meifer Nazirus bitoy, and the husband could be meifer Nazirus ishtoi. Break of them the Gemara. Why do we need a hekesh? Yeah, I'm just repeating what we learned last week. Why do we need a hekesh? We could actually learn this in a dinam. And for the Gemara, you can't learn out Hafore Nazirus and Hafore Nedorim. Why? Because Nedorim is like Kitzuse, right? Less like Kitzuse. I mean, it's not limited in time. But in Nazirus, there is a Kitzuse, because what's the Kitzuse? Stam Nazirus, Shloishim Yom. And without the Hekesh, we would think that the father and the husband cannot be made for the Nazirus. What do we see from over here? That even though there is a hekesh between the Dorim and Nazirus, that gives us this similarity between the two, but when we're talking about the limitation of time, there is a big difference between the two. We said that even though we see over here a difference between the two, but it does, when we talk about the Ran, there is actually, it minimizes a little bit this difference. Because the Ran fact on the third of the Gemara, and if actually the hekesh, there is a hekesh. Why the hekesh is not koilel also actually the limitation of time. And the same, like in the Nazirus, there is a zman kotzuv, there is a kitzus, as the Gemara says. But in the Ran, we should say also, Mamemotzinu, Nazirus and Nedorim are the same. So the same like in Nazirus, there is a kitzus. Says also in the Nedorim, you should have a kitzus. And for the Ran, is mechadish because Nedorim are koilel also nidrei hegdesh, and as nidrei isu, and nidrei hegdesh can't be Nedorim that should be limited in time, because what's nidrei hegdesh? Nidrei hegdesh, a person is magdish beim el mizbeach, and when a person is magdish beim el mizbeach, it must be kedushas oilom. So to be stubborn, the same should be also nidrei isu that has no limitation in time. That means The Ran is mechadish over here a big yisod that the not limiting, they're not giving it a kitzuz, they're not giving it it's part of the neder. Dos is a neder. What is a mahus of a neder? The mahus of the neder is different than Nazirus. The mahus of a neder is that it's le'olam, and the mahus of a Nazirus is not le'olam. That is, it depends on time, and that's the reason you can't do a hekesh. You can't do a mutzin. You have to learn it is from different occasion. But the Ran is one way. The Ran doesn't ask it the other way. Why the Ran doesn't ask, why shouldn't we be makish Nazirus in Adorim? And the same like in Adorim, there's no kitzus, there's no limitation in time. The same also Nazirus shouldn't have limitation in time. Mele stam Nazir should be on Nazir Olam. You can ask the same thing. The Ran doesn't ask a fakert. We ask a fakert. The Nedorim should also be kitzus. Maybe you should ask the same like Nedorim is Eiloi kitzus, optishke limitation, right? There's no Eiloi kitzus man. Nedorim is Nazirus also.
Have you got a lot of you see those 20 days?
What? First of all, we said it's not so clear to Allah or not, right? And especially if the Ran itself. Elamai, we see over here from the Ran that you understand that Nazirus is something that what? That it as a limitation of time. That is the Nazirus. The Mahuz of Nazirus is limitation of time. Yeah, and okay. So as we said, and the second chidush is that stam limitation is 30 days, and that is many times in the Torah we find that chodesh is 30 days. Pidina ben 30 yom, stam alvod gmor makesh 30 yom, avelu 30 yom, ilchus chag doshim v'shali beilas chag 30 yom koyed v'chag. Many things. Amar the Easter, yeah. Okay, also over here, the time is if it's the Reis the Rabban we also said, yeah? Okay. So that's what we learned last week. We just started the sugya, just the background, to give the background of what's the Yesodis. So we had last week, we just spoke about this Inyan, the Stam Nazir Shloshim Yom is the Mahus of Stam Nazir Shloshim Yom. We have two chidushim. First of all, that the Nazirus is, the essence of Nazirus is Hagbol Azman, and how much is the Hagbol Azman? Shloshim Yom. Okay. So once we saw the chidushim, let's speak about this. What we said that stam nazir shloshim yom. What is the mekor? What is the mekor or the svore to be done mitzad echad the nazir shloshim yom, and mitzad sheni, as we said, that it's only limited in time. Okay. So the chiddush what we said that the nazirus is not leolam. That means it has kitzuse. Hakbol Azman is not something that always. It's Bemes, we see from Pashas of the Psukim. For example, if we look at the Psukim, half of the Psukim is talking about what happens by Melois. Right? Most of the Psukim, more than half of the Psukim, we're talking about what happens when you finish the Nazirus. Oh, you have to bring Korbonas, Tiglachas, V'achar Yishteyayin. If you open up the Parsha and Nosoi, most of the psukim are talking about afterwards. So you see that the psukim is not something like the Torah itself. You see, there's a siyum to the Nazirus. There is a Nazirus, and there's a Nazirus comes to the end. Nishka Nazirus, and Nazirus is not forever. Yeah, and the end of the Nazirus, the Yom Elois, is a chelik of the Nazirus. We spoke about the Nazir Olam. Remember, we spoke about Nazir Olam when we wanted to speak about Nazir Olam. We also said the same idea. We bought from the Chazon Ish that Nazirus Olam is why it should be shvacher or not shvacher, because it has no Yom Elois. And the Yom Elois is a chelik of the Nazirus. It's not before us. It's not before us. Right? It's a chelik of it. So we see before us that the Nazirus is something limited in time. Now, if the Nazirus, a regular Nazirus, was forever, the Torah didn't have to tell us so right the arichas as when you finish the Nazirus, what you have to do, and what, and this, right? And the Torah said also, call Yemei Nizoi, right? What do we call Yemei Nizoi? Say call Yemei Chayav, no? It's call Yemei Nizoi. No, because the Nazir is, the Nazir is only actually something that's limited in time. It's not call Yemei, right? by a king. What we see over there, so you will call boy, call you Mechayev Leman, Ilmad, Leiro, Hashem, and right? So it says over there, call you Mechayev. And actually, we do find also by Shmuel, right? By Shmuel over there, Vatidar, Neder, Vatoima, Hashem Tzavokos, Timtere Boni Amosecho, Uschartani, Valotishkach es Amosecho, Unesato la Amosecho, Zera Anoshim, right? Unesati V'Hashem Kol Yemei Chayev. Moiro lo ya'ala al roishe. It's called Yemei Chayev. Don't say זה כל ימי ניזוי, right? So בעצם, Shmuel was a Nazir oilam. Why you don't say כל ימי ניזוי? Say כל ימי Chayev. Because fakert. Oh, Shmuel was not making a betar. Who says? Must be he was making a betar. Because if not, how could he go into the Misamid? This is doch a Gadil Pera. Huh? Gadil Pera Sa'aroishay. He's not allowed to go in the thing. Must be he was making a betar in Pam Shloishim Yoim. Nisha Zevi Rebbe. Or like Rab Neurai. Or like Rab Yosef, Pam Shavua. But there's a medrash I saw once that there's a medrash that says that Yoel ben Pesuel, right? Who's Yoel ben Pesuel? State in the medrash. Okay, Shaila, if it fits with the time, it doesn't fit with the time. I go to Shaila over. Say that Yoel ben Pesuel is Yoel ben Shmuel. Why is it called Pesuel? With a pain name, not with a base. Pesuel. Why? Because he had to go into the Beis Hamikdash, and he was a Nazir, so he had long hair, and he's a Purua Roish, so he would plait his hair, like do samot, and he said plait it, and that's why it's called Pesuel. That's called the plait the hair. It's called that's why it was called Pesuel. Yes, get No, Shmuel was a Nazir. Shmuel had the din of a Nazir that, and he was not allowed to go into things. If it's plotted lechoira, yes. I don't know if, because it's not called Pera. Pera is only in maneuver. That's the reason he shouldn't go into Beis Hamikdash. Gadel Pera. I don't know, lechoira. I don't know, yeah. So maybe if someone had the payers can go into the Beis Hamikdash. Huh? Name. If you say it's Pera, so someone who had the long payers can't go Hasidish, that had the long payers can't go into Beis Hamikdash. Yeah, okay, we're going into a different sugya now, but yeah. But if it's a Pera, what we learn out from Nazir, yeah? It was more than 30 days thing. You couldn't go to Beis Hamikdash. No, you regel, Beis Hamikdash. It's only a Dazor, דבר ראשון. And also, is the Ram and Raiva, this is only Bishas Avoida, not Bishas Avoida. Yeah, but sure it's not talking about it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so mitzad echot, so we see that what? The Kedusha of a Nazir, the Isurim of a Nazir is Zmani, is not something that's always. And that's why, as you understand, also the Ran and the Dorim, right? As we said, that the Nazirus is Dovo Sheyesh Kitzuse, something that has a thing. Mitzad Sheni. This is very clear from the Psukim that also it can't be that the person is going to choose to be a Nazir for 1 second. The Nazirus has to be at least a few days, right? And where do we see it? State of there, Vehayomi Morishoni Yiplu. But the Psukim itself, Vahayomi Morishoni Yiplu, is mashma that the Yomi Morishoni Yiplu. You can't say, oh, Vahayomi Morishoni Yiplu. Okay, it's 1 minute of Nazirus. No. Matter the Nazirus that also did not end, right? It was already a few days over there. So you see, right? V'zois steht on the pasuk. V'zois toras anosim v'yoyim melois yemei mizoi yemei mizoi. Right? Yom yom pesach hoyen moed v'cholei. So what's mashma? The Nazirus has actually a few days. It's not 1 day. Like any process that has a beginning and the end, you have a yoyim melois. We see it called yemei mizoi. Right? As we have a few days. So what is the pshat of it? What the Torah tells us that the stam Nazir shloishim yoyim is. The emes is like something in between. Mitzad echad the Nazirus is not forever. Mitzad sheni we said the Nazirus is not 1 second. So how long is it? You know what? 30 yom. 30 yom. That's the Nazirus. Okay. So when we talk about Stam Nazirus, Stam Nazirus is 30 yom. Mitzad echad could be that word, that the Nazirus could be even for, as we said, 1 minute. And the third tells us, no, it's not 1 minute, it's longer than that. Mitzad Sheni, I would think that word, it should be forever. The third is to no, it's also not forever, it's Shloshim Yom. So no, Shloshim Yom is enough. Shloshim Yom is a Chashivas, Shloshim Yom is a Nazir, right? This was a Nazir, and we see that, we see a Chashivas of Shloshim Yom. Where do we see a Chashivas of Shloshim Yom? I can think about this, the Gemara in Bava Basra. Bava Basra, the Chesed Aleph, the Gemara says that there's someone, the Yoshvei Oir, the inhabitants of the city, what's called the Yoshvei Oir, right? Legabe Irani Dachas, Legabe the Chiyuvei Tzedakah, Kimcha the Pischa, right? Or Pesach. So, Legabe Kimcha the Pischa, who's called Yoshvei Oir that you have to support them? 30 days. So you see that there is a, say it's a Hashivas, huh? Stam Alvo, okay, but we see, yeah. Sorry? Mezuzah Dira, yeah, you're right. Very good. Yeah. So Mezuzah is also 30 days, okay, and Chutz La'aretz, yeah, definitely. So that means someone who's, when we see a Nazirus as something that has to be more than a certain time and less than a certain time, so we say that is 30 days. Okay. How do we look at the Yom Elois? The Yom Elois, we look at it, is a end of the Nazirus, as we learned before, and then the Nazir Olam, and we see it at the end of something that was. I mean, we had the Mahalach, right? Is Be'etzem, what is the Be'etzem Azoi? When we understand that there's two understandings, that the Nazirus cannot be Mitzad Echad forever. Mitzad Sheni, the Nazirus can't be 1 second, as we prove from the Psukim itself. Yeah, it's mashma. So we have to have a thing, 30 days. So this also impacts on the Shaila. How could we see the Yom Elois? How we see the Yom Elois or the end of the Nazirus? Mitzad Echad, we could say, yeah, as we said in the beginning, that what we could look at the end of the Nazirus, something that's definitely going to happen. And Mimela, we could see it as a shlomet to the Nazirus. Mitzad Sheni, we could look at this as no, that's and it stops. It's mafsik, something much bigger before the time. I'm actually in the middle of Nazirus, and now the Yom Elois stops it. Huh?
Elois is much more.
Finish. Oh, so this is I mean, I'm saying we looked at it. If the MS it could be 1 minute. So the Yom Elois tells me no. It continues till the Yom Elois. Or we could say the MS should be forever, and the Yom Elois stops it in the middle. Huh? Yeah, Stam Nazirus. What? It's going to be also a little bit like the very philosophical Shaila, what the Rogatchover always is Nusach, right? The Rogatchover, he has the Hakir when we talk about time, the Yachas, to the idea of time. What is it? He called it Zman Mitztaref. That means the Zman is from many, many small increments or Yechidot. Yes, small Yechidot. Or he calls it in his language is Zman Nekuda. That is one time, infinity of time. Yeah. He takes it to the Chakir. You don't see a big nafkemin over there. Zman Mitztaref or Zman Nekuda. The Rogatchover, famous style of the Rogatchover. Zman Mitztaref or Zman Nekuda. Is the Zman is many, many Nekudas of Zman? Or no, Zman is something Ein Sofi. Oh, where it comes out of Chakira, this Chakira? They get to Zmanim the Aloha. For example, what he brings over there, it's a Faner, it's a Cheder Gimel, Zman Avelus. Zman Avelus is Sukkah, in Shabbos. It stops it, right? Or how do we look at this, the thing? So, Avelus Shloshim Yoim, it stops it. So we know in Shabbos, it stops, and then you're mamshich weiter. But Yom Tev, it stops it, and it's mashlim it, and that thing. And he says this thing also actually he brings us legabe stam Nazir shloishim yom. Also he sagt oh, the what's up shot. So he says also this what we said over there that we have to have shloishim yom. Shloishim yom is a zman nekuda. Zman nekuda. It's continuing one long zman. And Be'emes, the Rogochov says that this Hakira, the depends on the Hakira if Nazir is a Kabbalah of the person. If it's a Kabbalah of the person, so then it's what he calls Zman Mitztaref. Oh no, it's a Chiyuv min HaTorah. Maybe say it's a Zman Nekuda. Why? Because in this Nekuda of the person was Mekabel himself, Klape the Chiyuv min HaTorah. Okay, this is what we spoke about already before. Yeah, okay. I will tell. We look at it as you call it, in the middle of the Rega Richter, right? This is the Zman Mitzaref, or we call it the Netzach Zute, so Zman Nekuda. And so in Nafkemina, no Nafkemina, just in the Avona of certain things, he wants to be Masbir in this Hakira. Okay, this is more of the Rogochover is Nusach, is more of a thing. Okay, but okay, not so much of a thing. Okay. So let's look at this. Let's look at the Shiloh of Taka. Let's look at the Nafkemina, as the Moshe says. Lemay Nafkemina. Could be a Nafkemina will be as like in a case when a person, let's say a person is becoming himself in the zeros, but less than Shloishim Yom. The deal is he's mischayev the zeros of Shloishim Yom, right? Let's use the Minchas Chinuch. He spoke of the Minchas Chinuch. He spoke about the in the Akdomet, the Minchas Chinuch, and Shin Samches, Ois Tes, and also in Ois Yud Gimel. Minchas Chinuch says that could be certain cases that a person is mekabel himself in the zeros of Shloishim Yom, but mitzad the chalois, the zeros is not chal Shloishim Yom. Just one, it finishes even before it. When it can happen in this case? This case could happen, for example, when a person, let's say, Av Madir is Benoy. When we mentioned it, we can see it later on in the Masechet. So Av Madir is Benoy. When we say Av Madir is Benoy, right, when he's a cotton, even less than 30 days before he became a godly. So the boy is going to become Bar Mitzvah, let's say, in 20 days, and the father could still be Mazir's son. So he's Mazir's son now. What's going to happen? He's Mazir's son. What's going to happen? So says the thing. Lefito says, when the son becomes a godel, the Nazirus is Nifka, because the father doesn't have any more schools to be Mazir's son. So you have a very, very interesting case of a Nazirus was chal for 30 days. What? And Nazir was chal for 30 days, and it's going to be Nifka before 30 days. I'll say all the Minchas Chinuch. But when Nazir was chal, the father was Mazir the son, the Nazir was chal for 30 days. But so I would chal from the beginning. And when he's Magdil, it's Nifka. No, so Nazir was chal for 30 days. And then when he became a god, it was Nifka. That's the way we learned the Torah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You know. Another case, he says, when we know, as we said before, that Baal Mefer Nidrei Ishtoi, right? Sorry, not Nidrei, Nazir's Ishtoi. When? Let's say he's Mefer, so we know what's the difference in Hafore to Shaila. So Hafore is Mikanu Le'abo, Masechet, Shaila, you go to the Chochem, he's Matiret. As the Gemara says in the Dorim, he's a Roife. The Mikanu Le'abo, the husband. Masechet, the Chochem is more than that. He's Mafkia, the ganze Sache, Mafreya will never happen. So, the Afore is Mikanu Le'abo. The Kumto is until now, the Nazirus was not half for 30 days. That is like the Minchas Chinuch. Now, the Minchas Chinuch has over there a long Chakire. If in these cases, because the Nazirus is not Chal b'meshach 30 days, the Ma'aser, so it was not Chal Bichlal, we could say there was never Chal Bichlal, yeah, this is what now you're speaking about. That the Nazirus that was till now is Nizbat Lemafreya, even though B'derech Kal Hafore is Mikanu Le'abo, or In this case, because the Baal was made after 20 days, so it was never Chal, or as you wanted to say, Legabi cotton, because he was Nadir in 30, in less than 30 days, and the 30 days could not get a unit of 30 days, so it's Mispat Lemafreya, or maybe not. In this case, the Nazirus could be even less than 30 days. What? Legabi Kobonis, Legabi many things. So Lemaskone, he has a longer Riches in the Chakira, and he depends on the Machloikis Rishonim. Depends on the Machloikis Rishonim. What's the Machloikis Rishonim? Let's mention that Mamish Bekitzonim, what the Rama passes, and Ilchos Nazirus, Perek, Dal, Dalocha, Yud. The Rama passes, Misha Omar Hareini, Nazir, Yoim Echod, Lifnei Misos. That's the lotion of the person. He says, Hareini, Nazir, Yoim Echod, Lifnei Misos. Harei ze also Lifnei Yain, Ulintama, Ulegaleach, Le'oilom. Why? Shuv Yoim Echod, Lifnei Misos. Amazing. Says the Minchas he brings this Rambam and proves the Minchas for this Rambam that also the Nazirus that cannot be Chash Leishim Yoim Eschal. No? It's a very nice line. He says, he means that I know one day. And he's not allowed to drink. This person is going to die a day after the beginning of the Chalois. He's not going to be a Nazir Leishim Yoim. Huh? Yeah, but he says, Areini Nazir, Yoim Echad Lifnei Misosi. So he starts to keep Nazirs from today. Because as you say, because you don't know when he's going to die. Oh, but he's becoming some Nazirs for one day Nazirs. And you say, well, if the Rama, why has to keep it? Says Minchas Chinuch, for me is a raya that you can be Mekabel and Nazirs for less than 30 days. But that depends on the Hakira. The Hakira is going to depend on the Le'um Mazois. The Rosh is not over here. The Rosh is in the Dorin of Gimel on the base. The Rosh says that in the case when a person says Areini Nazir, not Yoim Echod Lifnei Misosi, he has a different girsa. Over there, the Rosh says a very interesting girsa. The Rosh brings it's in Daf Gimel on the base, and the Rosh is in Dibra Maschiloi. Zok the Rosh. Areini Nazir, I'm skipping, I just it's lo epotem in oilam, actually, Nazir, the Minai Shaita Avele Nazir. So it's a long rush, but the Garsinen, he brings away the Garsinen, what's the gear say? Vadai, Im Omar, Areini Nazir, Shloishim Yoim, Livnei Moisi Oz, Oyo Osur, Liftois Yayin, Veiroeli, Sheyamu, the Sofi Nazir, Skol Yom, Ava Loilo. The Rosh comes to the last one. These Maduras, the last Rosh of the Omer, the Daf Gimel on the base. The Rosh of the Daik over here in the Dorim Daf Gimel on the base. The last Rosh of the Omer, he says that the Girsa should be Hareini Nazir Shloishim Yoim Lifnei Moisi. The Daik from here, the Minchas Chinuch is Medaik. And why? Because less than 30 days is Nishkan Adios. So we see that there's a Machlekes, the Rosh and the Rambam. That's what the Minchas Chinuch understands. The Machlekes, the Rosh and the Rambam, about if a Nazirus could be Chal B'Chlal in the idea of Shloishim Yoim, or it's not a Nazirus. Yeah, you wouldn't have a Nazirus. But if it's going to be Chal, it's going to be Chal. You're right. There's many, for example, the Someach disagrees. The Someach disagrees, and the Briskerov disagree on the Minchas Chinuch. And they are, why? What's with the Rambam? This is the Chagav. I don't know. The Rambam is very geschmack, so let's think. The Minchas Chinuch, as we see over there, they tiny as a Someach tinies. Someone who says, it's not the matter. Yeah. Someone who says that he's going to be a Nazir, Yom Echad Lifnei Moisa. Yes, the Rambam says. He's creating a Nazirus that's Chal 30 days before the death. The same thing like a person's Mekabel Nazirus, Yom Echad, and it turns to be a Nazirus. That's what the Rambam studies also. When a person says, Areini Nazir Yom Echad, what is going to be, this person? 30 days. So the person says, Areini Nazir Yom Echad Lifnei Moisi, he says 30 days Lifnei Moisi. Look, as I time the thing, as I time the Dor Someach. So very, for was nicht. For was nicht. Yeah.
Cohen is allowed to drink wine because it's a coconoso.
Yes.
Because we have some nations in contribution. Why do we not say that if a photographer is not going to die, in the next 30 days? In other words, that he shouldn't immediately also correct.
Again, we're not even though all of these things. Yeah, that's what it's all. Yeah. No, he says like when a person does 130 days, that's what the Rambam understood. You're going backwards. Okay, it's a Kabbalah's Nazir for 30 days. I don't have to so much to focus on the backwards and forward. It's a Kabbalah's Nazir 30 days. Because Yoimel is a Kabbalah's Nazir. In the Shtraza, a Kabbalah's Nazir of 30 days could be also lost of Yoimel. So when the person says Yoimel, there's a Kabbalah's Nazir of 30 days. Yeah. Yeah. So that is going to be that. I think I also may to disagree on the Minchasanu. Mitzad Sheni, the Briskerov also disagrees on the thing. Mitzad Echad, he's makabel the assumption of the Minchasanu, the Nazir's be'emes is chal only one day, not like also may. Just what time is. In this case, it doesn't depend on the Chakire of what we say. If the Chalois is be'emes the Chalois of Shloshim Yoyim from the day of he dies or not. Just what he says when he died. Technically, he doesn't have a possibility to be Noig Nazir of the fire. Yeah, very simple. He says, but seriously, he doesn't have a. No, what is the koya? That's it. He's dead. He's dead. Huh? Yeah, that's what you wanted to say. Yeah, that's right. That's what I think Moshe wanted to say. That's the Briskerov. Now, yeah. No, that loy chashinan. We say loy chashinan. Over here, when the person is mekabel on himself, yoyim lifnei moisa. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Now, you wanted to know chakira. This chakira could be the nafkamina of what we said before. And there's been chaschinuf that we understand the two havonas that we said, right? The stam nazir shloishim yoyim. Lefi the havona shloishim yoyim is, as we called it, Netzach Zute, how's the thing, right? And the Zman, right, is forever. That means the Be'emes, the Nazirus was forever. The Torah was Mechadesh, that's what? That this forever stops when? After 30 days. The them, it's possible that what? It can't be the Chalois of Nazirus less than 30 days. Because Be'emes, the Nazirus should be more than that. The Nazirus should be till when? Forever. And then the Torah says, no, Mak to stop after 30 days. Lefi the first time, as we said, that Nazir Shloishim Yoim is fakert, is Rega Richter, as we said, and the Kude, as we said, that the Nazir is 1 minute, and the Torah dashes another minute. So once the Torah came and said there is a Chalois of Nazirus of less than 30 days, but for sure that what, when we're talking about different possibility that also after the Torah was Mechadesh, Shloishim Yoim is going to help only like the shield of the days, what the Torah was Magdim, that is Stam Nazirus Shloishim Yom. So it could be that that's going to be. For example, let's take an example. Just the Lesaber Soizan. Lesaber Soizan, we could use an example of, let's say, din of Chatzishir. Chatzishir, we know Machlekes Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, if it's also in a Torah or it's not also in a Torah. Now, if we use the Achronim, famous Sorogat Shover, also in the Mefanech Tzfunas, what's also the Rebbe Elchanan, the Kovet Shiurim, or Baso is Kuf Samach Zayin, Shin Samach Zayin, the Rebbe Elchanan, sorry. They explain as well. The Fira B'Yochanan, right? We said the Fira B'Yochanan is also in a Torah, right? Chatzishir also in a Torah. What that means? The shield is not part of the definition of the quality of the Isur, as we say, the quality of the Isur. It's only the amount that we get Malchus on. The quality of the Isur is afilu Zak Leid Zach. Legabe Malchus, that's all Malchus Eins. Aber der Isur, jeden Stickel ist ein Isur. Jeden Stickel ist ein Isur. Yeah, what's Chodel Itzarufe? Chodel Itzarufe Legabi, yeah, it's Legabi the Malchus. And that's why even if you have Isu less than the seal, less than a Kizais, right? And how we call it, eh? So you're gonna be like Lefira Shlokish. The seal is not only mido, a mido mesur. How much is it? No, it's part of the definition of the Isu. It's part, yeah, not Shube. No, use the thing, no, the Mishnah Melech. Chometz u'matzah. If by mitzvah say chatzi shiur. A mensch hat noch a halbe kezais matzah. If we also say chatzi shiur also not is only by Yisurim. What about the mitzvahs? Yeah, the famous in the beginning, you say that here, the Perikei, the Mishnah Melech. Yes, we spoke about it over here, Pesach Shiur. Yes, that's right. Oh, so remember, okay, let's skip it. Anyway, so if he has less than a chatzi shiur of things, so also that it's totally on this. Then we have the Milchasedah, it's a Kuf Lamed. Then we spoke the Shagasai and Simen Kuf. Okay, and we spoke a lot. Okay, but anyway, the same thing we could tie the same thing about Stam Nazir Shloshim Yom. The number of 30, what it represents, the number of 30. Is it Be'emes, the days, how much? The Kamus, as we said, the thing, the quantity, and how much is going to be the quantity of days have to be 30. But if this number is part of the definition of the Nazirus, it can't be a Nazirus, a Chalois of Nazirus, that's in 30 days. Oh no, it's not part of the definition of the Yisur. It's only a number. But also less than 30 days, it still has a meaning. It still has a meaning. It's got that could be thing. Okay. So once we explain the Mekoiris and a little bit of Avona in the Mekoiris, let's go into the Sugya. Yeah, Kitzonim. So after we saw the Mekoiris of Stam Nazirus and the Svoris, let's see the Mekoiris with the Gemara bins in the Bavli, and as we like to do lately, also to try to combine it to the Yerushalmi. So in the Gemara, by us in Nazir Daf Hey Omed Aleph, the Gemara first Mino Hani Mile. Mino Hani Mile. Says the Gemara Omar Rav Masne, Omar Kro, Kodosh Iye. And what we learn from Iye Begimatri is Klosi Navu, and it's 30. Bar Pade, this is the whole sugya goes to Bar Masne, Bar Pade, Bar Masne, Bar Pade. Bar Pade learns Keneged Nazir, Nizroi, Amuri Matera, and it's Lamed Choser Achas. Right? That's the Gemara by us who teaches us that there is a thing. Oibasa. First of all, the Gemara tells us two answers to the Shaila, what is the Mekoradi? Right? And then the end of Sugya, we saw also another two Mekoros to this din, but it looks like the first two Mekoros, what we see over here, that's because the most of the Sugya is talking about this Mekoros. We saw at the end of the thing, two Mekoros, right? Is we can see also in the Yerushalmi, we also have these two Mekoros of what's the Mekor of Shloshim Yom. Anyway, so what's the Mekor? Rav Masna learned it from the Pasuk of Kol Yemei Neder Nizo Itar Lo Yaver Al Roishoy Ad Melo Yitar Yomim Asher Yazir LaHashem Kodesh Yeh Gadel Pera Se'ar Roishoy. We have again Nazir and Nazir and Nazir, and because the Gematria of Iye is 30, Rav Masna says Tam Nizu Shloshim Yom. Now this Limud Rav Masna, we mentioned it more Sugis and Shas, and we mentioned that we were learning inside the Gemara Sanhedrin, Daf Base on the days, the Gemara Tiny, Daf Yud Zayin on the base, as Rebalin just mentioned the Gemara Tiny over there, Gabe Shtias Yain. Over there, the Gemara also mentions that, and the Gemara Moed Kov Daf Yud Tesam days. All of these places is brought down is a Limud. If you look at the that Stam Nazirus is Shloshim Yom. That's what's brought down. The Barpade, when he speaks about, he takes the root of the word neder or nezer, nun zayin reish or nun daled reish, and it's mentioned 29 times in the Parsha of Nazir. So we see that Stam Nazirus is 29 days. Now, when we look at the first Mekor, what's the Mekor? And now we spoke most of the things we spoke, we're just trying to get the sugya together. So what is this Mekor? Can we learn a din from a Gematria? Gematria is the Rosh, as we saw over here, the Rosh Bayos and Limor Maskil Lo Yeh, right? The Lashon of the Rosh Lav miyud gimel midos he she'atayr nidreshes for it. And we spent a bit of time. We spoke the Rashpikinoin. We spoke a little bit about this. Yeah, but that's a lot of the Rosh. The Rosh says, Lav miyud gimel midos she'atayr nidreshes for it. That means that the Maskala is that the Mekor Adin is a Aloche, it's a Mesoires, but it's not right. It's basically it's only a Asmachte. And that's really the Rosh Yisrael got in the idea. The Rosh says it's only a Asmachte. And that's really the Rambam. We mentioned the Rambam, Pirush HaMishnayos, Nazir, Perek Aleph, Mishneh Gimel, and the Rambam in Aloche, Silchos Nazir, Perek Gimel, Aloche Beis, and the Radvaz of then Aloche Aleph is Marich in the Rambam. And the Rambam, it's only a Asmachte. But there is Rishonim who disagree on the Rosh and the Rambam, and they say that yes, we can learn out from a Gimatria. We can learn out from Gimatria, as we spoke a little bit, and we said if you want to be Malchi, look at the Sefer Yad Malachi, Klolei Talmud, Klal Tov Lamed. What he speaks out more Bariches, as the Yad Malachi is, we know, the Klolei Talmud. If we could learn out, not learn out, it means of there are many Rishonim. So when we have enough Gemina between the two Limudim, yeah. Also, if you're the ones that say it's only Asmachte, what comes to teach us this Asmachte? What is Asmachte? So when we learn in the Mekor of Barpade, so when you look in the Mekor of Barpade, what's the Mekor of Barpade? Because it says Neder and Nezer, right? So it's not Stam and Zeros and Shloishim Yoim. So how can we say, 1 second, what the Mishnah? The Lashon Mishnah is Stam and Zeros, Shloishim Yoim. How can you tell me that the Zeros is only 29? Think more answers. You're right. He brings a Korbanos and the Giluach. And that's the Mishnah means. Yeah, more factors. What you mean? It's not 29 days, it's not 30 days. And he brings the Tiglachas, and that's what right? That's a shot in the Mishnah. But many times, actually, how many times we have the roots of Nazir in Neder and Nezer in the Parsha? Actually, we have 30, not 29. And then we bought it from the Rishonim. Yeah, the Rishonim for enough. And we saw Toises factors already. So, if the root of Neder and Nezer is mentioned 30 times, so why Barpad decided not to bring it? Elamai, what is the idea of Stam Nezer Shloshim? Mitzad Echad, looks like the limud from the word Iyeh Kasa teach us that the Hashlome that we have in the Nazir is 30 days. Iyeh, Havaya Achas, it's going to be one, right? A full limud of thing. That means, how we call it, is long thing. Zman Nekuda is the if you use the terms of the Rogochover. One, the Torah told us we had over here 2 Havonas, and we're going to try to follow these 2 Havonas now. One Havonah we call it Zman Nekuda, and one Havonah we call Zman Mitzvah. Or in different words, the minimum is 1 minute, or BMS should have been Loyal Void, and the Torah stopped it in the middle. So if we learn it from Iyeh, it's mashma Iyeh. He should be a Nazir. And BMS he should be a Nazir, it's Be'etzem Zman Nekuda. Just what the Torah came and told us, the Yemin is one thing, a complete thing after 30 days. Mitzat Sheni, if the limud is from the times what we see the root of Nun Zayin Reish in the Parsha of Nazir, so that comes and tells me many details. We have 29 details in the Parsha of Nazir. Nochanezer. It's man mitzaref. All of them together, we mitzaref all the Nezarim. Again, Nochanezer. Every time is another day. Every one is another day. We have now Zman mitzaref. We have a seal of 29 days of Nazir. We have 29 days of Nazir. So if we depend this machloikes of Bar Master, Bar Pade, so the whole machloikes in the Avone be'etzem in the Psukim already in the Mekoros and the Yesoid Advorim of a Nazir. What is a Nazir? Every one Nezer, every Nun Zayin Rei Shoresh is Shele'atzma is Mechayev only 1 day of Nazirus or 1 minute of Nazirus, and right as we said the Rega Richter, as we call it, the Zman Mitzaref. And BMS, the Nazir should be only BMS 1 day. The Torah was Mechavish, no, 1 day is not enough. I need Yemein Yisrael, as we said. I need many days. And we could also understand this also in what we spoke before, and we came into the Chasrinuch. If Bechlal there is a Chalois of Nazirus less than 30 days. So the Chasrinuch wanted to depend this on the Machlokes, the Rosh and the Rambam, right? on the idea. So if we look at the Nazir, is 1 unit, right? Is 1 unit. So no, you can't have a Nazir less than 30 days. But if you look at it as 29 units of Nazirs, you can have it the Nazirs in less than 30 days. But that's the same Hakira of the thing. Now the difference between it is also gonna, we also see it when in the number of days what you could count, each one has to count. Lefi the opinion, what we said that you have to count 30 days. Why? Because this is it's one complete counting of 30 days. And the one that says as well that we have to count only 29 days. Why? Islam with Chosr Achas, the Gemara said, because there is a part of it. It's when do we see it? We see this idea already in the Rishonim. Sayin Mefarish by us, Avayim Dibor Masil Barpade, Toises and Dibor Masil Barpade, Meiri and Dibor Masil Omar. And as we mentioned when we were learning the Sugya inside, and they have a Shaila. They have a Shaila, as we just mentioned. We mentioned also when we were learning at the Sugya inside. If you look at the Shorish of the word Nun Zayin Reis, it's mentioned 30 times. What the answer? Well, they all answer the same teretz, right? The Pasuk, what says in Pasuk Zayin, Ki Nezer Eloikov Al Roishoi Einoi Mina Minyan. This is not part of the minyan. Why? Because Nezer means a lotion of a Hatoreh. Nezer means a lotion of a crown. It's not a lotion of Nazirus. And it's based on the top. Yeah, if you look at the Targum Unkelus over there, what the Targum in the Nezer? Kalila, right? Kalila, right? And that's actually interesting because when we're the Targum, when we Targum and Nezer, not always this pasuk we say Kalila. Everywhere else Nezer, what is the Nezer? It's not it's not Kalila, it's a Nizri. And if you look at the Targum, always is Nizri.
Which is right against what I'm saying.
Yeah, because the Shnei, yeah. Yeah. Actually, the Yerushalmi think is the Shaila, and the Yerushalmi answers a different tale. The Yerushalmi said that one of them is the Gufay. One of them is the Gufay. Interesting, why the Yerushalmi don't answer it? Very simple tales, yeah. Chad le Gufay, I need one of them. Huh? Yeah, what's the Nazri. And over there, what he says? Klila. So you see, it's different. Yeah. It's based on the Targum, the Teret. The Targum, yeah, it's based on the Targum. It's the Derech. Oh. No, that again, that depends on the yeah. Yeah, it's all one. It's something that you're mashing. Yeah. Oh, yes. So let's take now this to have honest what we understand, and now okay, we started the sugya. Let's go through the whole sugya. We don't have much time. Let's continue. So we learned the sugya now, right? Stam Nazirus shloishim yoy. Pregdig mo bishlo melarab masne niche, right? Because state before the Mishnah, Stam Nazirus el pade kashya. Pregdig mo because state before the post in the Mishnah, Stam Nazirus shloishim yoy. Omar loch bar pade. The Megaleach, or maybe because I can't explosion with the day of Giluach. Okay, so we just mentioned the Shaila. The Yisod is that the female Pade, Stam Nazirus is 29, so the Mishnah says that Stam Nazirus is Shloishim Yom. Pade answers that the Mishnah says Shloishim Yom because Yom Shloishim is with the day of Avos Kobonoisav. After you being the Avos Kobonoisav, the Shlom Asa Nazirus, and Be'emes, this Shaila has to be a Shaila and Rav Master. If the Mishnah is Koilel in zich, the days that you also being the Avos Kobonoisav, so if you have Master, the Mishnah has to tell us Stam Nazirus Shloishim Ve'echod Yom. Back to Rav Master. Why we say that Stam Nazirus is only Shloishim Yom? If you have Master, for sure the Mishnah is talking about only the Nazirus itself, it's not talking about the Avos Kobonoisav. So Kumtois, that there's another machloikis over here, hidden machloikis between Rav Master and Rav Bar Pade. Lefi Bar Pade, if we count the Yom Avos Kobonoisav in the days of the Nazirus, or we don't count it in the days of Nazirus, right? Not only it's a very very strong machlokes, not only a technical machlokes. This is a very strong machlokes. How we end the Nazirus. Beyachas to what? How we misiachas to the Yom Avos Komonos. So the people pade the Nazirus part of the Nazirus is what is it? Be'emes is the Nazirus is something that the Siyum of Nazirus is something that's what that we know beforehand, right? Oh, but that's also part of the Nazirus. Mimele, 30 days, what says over there in the Mishnah, it's including also the days of Avos Komonosim, even though that this day is not mamish of the days of the Nazirus, but we count the days of the Nazirus. Why? Because we know that this is going to be the day of the Nazirus. Why? Because look, it is 29 separate days, so also the day of the bringing also the Korban. Rav Master, he understands that no, the Nazirus is something that, as we said, the Nitzchias, right? As we call it, Zman Nekude, Netzach Zute, yeah, as we call it. The Mela, the end of Nazirus is something different than the Nazirus itself. It's not, you can't bring it into Nazirus. It's something that's Akel the Nazirus. The Fida Avona is very good. Levi Bar Rav Master. Then what is the Nazirus, as we said? Nazirus is Zman Nekude. The Nazirus should be always Netzach. This was the Yom Eloi stops it. So you can't tell me that the Yom Eloi is part of the Nazirus. Okay, the Yom Eloi breaks the Nazirus. It's something that brings up the Nazirus. Very good. And people are part there. No, it's another moment. I know from the beginning that on the 30th day, it's not breaking the Korbanos. It's part of the Nazirus. I can count it. You see it in the Gemara. Let's continue the sugya. In the sugya, we learned, right? The Gemara brings the raya from a Mishnah. Mi she'oma areini Nazir megaleach yom 31. Right? The Gemara Mishnah, we have Masechet. No, very good. 31 is megaleach. Elo lebar pade kashe, and for the Gemara, Omar lo bar pade nase keoimer shleimim. Right? So basically, the Gemara is asking on bar pade from the Mishnah that says that the Nazir is megaleach. When is megaleach? Only the 31st day. The Nazirus. The Bar Pade can be megalech within the Yom Shloshim. So what the Bar Pade answers us? Nasa keoimer shleimim. Now, what means nasa keoimer shleimim? So the Rishonim, the Rosh, we saw the Rosh inside, and we saw the Toisves and the Meiri. They explain that the Bar Pade, even though that Mina Torah 29 days is enough, Chachamim done a gzeire on Stam Nazirus. It should be 30 yom. Lekatchila 30 yom. Why? Gzeiro shemo yoimar areini Nazir 30 yom shleimim. That means he specifies. He says out. I think the Rosh brings the machlokes. If this gzeire is said only when someone says areini Nazir, that means it says areini Nazir Stam, or even when a person says areini Nazir choftes yom. Yeah, we mentioned it. Yeah, the Rosh says maybe only when he says areini Nazir. So then, if he would say areini Nazir, gzeire shemo yoimar areini Nazir 30 yom shleimim. Or maybe even if a person says areini Nazir choftes yom, the person says areini Nazir choftes yom. Why should you do a gzeir on him? We should be mischayev and Naziros for 30 days. More than that. Also, the opinion that the gzeir is only on someone that's recovered in a zero stam is also what's up shot. That means this is the Keren Oyer effect. The Keren Oyer effect is Ashayla. What's the reason of this gzeir? Why not? Because the female father, what is the length of the Naziros? 29 days. So how can you do a gzeir because of Hashash or maybe mischayev a different number? The Keren Oyer thing. Million acheru. Ma kesher. Why do you do a gzeira? And maybe do a gzeira, maybe he's going to do a Nazirus of 50 days. That's a different number. Meile, if you have master, I understand. He says, Stam Nazirus 30 yom. And he can be megalech when he yom 30. Why? Because we saw in the Gemara later on, yeah. So we understand very good. You can do a gzeira lekatchila. Don't be megalech b'yom 30. Why? Because maybe you can say shleimim. And then shleimim means the days of 30 is shleimim. But the people have to understand is 29 days. There's no reason that we should have a chashash tafke for Nazirus of Lamed Yom more than Lamed Aleph, Lamed Beis, Lamed Gimel, Lamed Daled. So there's no reason to do a gzeira of 30 Yom lefi Bar Pade, as they think the Keren Oyer. But if we're saying that Nazirus of 29 days is a Nazirus be'emes of Chalokim, yeah, so we understand why when a person has become Nazirus, he has to come to the 30th day. Because the 30th day, that is be'emes a ganze Nazirus. As we said, 30 day is a Yechidat Zman of 30, right? even though there's no difference mitzad the dates, there's no difference in 30 and 29, right? Because both of them is a person's mekabel nazirus. Oh, but 30 is a time of 30. So Mele Chachamim done exera. Someone is mekabel nazirus. Stam, he shouldn't be megalech because the chashash maybe he's going to mekabel himself nazirus of shloshim yom shleimim. Where do we see it? We see it in the Rosh. The Rosh says, what's the exera of Chazaz? The Rosh says in Dima Maschil Elo. The Rosh says the lashon of the Rosh is. Says the Rosh, לפי שהמנהג הזה הוא בבני אודום. מאחר שסתם נוזיר הוא סכום למניין למד, רק חוסר יוים אחד, הנויזר נזירוס מפרש למד יוים, הוא מניין שולם. That means we see very, very clear in the Rosh that what? That the Mekor for Chazal, לפי ברפדה, is Minag Bnei Odom. A Minag Bnei Odom is to mekaben himself Nazirus of Shloshim Yom. What's this Minag? What's this Minag? Oh, fakert. Nazirus of 29 days represent Epes Chisol in the face, yeah? And people want to do a full 30 days as a thing. Or Lefi, then we could also add the Toises. Toises fact, we saw in Dima Maschil Omar, one of the shadows of Toises fact is why the Gemara says that Lefi Barpade, someone who does on the Zirus Tam is Nasa Koim Shleim. Why do we say Gzer Shem Yoyim Al Shloishim? That's like Toises. Right? Toises fact. Shem Yoyim Al Shloishim. Lefi Barpade, not like a master, there's no din of Mitzvah Sekekuloi. That's in Toises. And that's why Lefi them. If you didn't say, anyone who says Shloishim, he's mechuyev 30 days, 30 full days, because he don't say mitzvah second. And when he's going to do the Gachas? 31st day, right? Also, if he didn't say Shleimim, because that's the Shleimim. That is Shleimim. So Toysa says a teres, that what? That's Deichai. Inochename. You could have said, Gzero Shemo Yoimar Shloishim. Because the Gemara after that uses the Lashon of Shleimim, when the Gemara enters the words of Ramasne, he uses also the Lashon of, also when we speak about Barpada, we also use the Lashon of Shleimim. Right? That's what Toysha says. Lefi them, Shleimim is not only Klabi Lefi the Rosh. Shleimim is not only Klabi the person, is the reason of the Gzeira. The Minag Bnei Odom, the Minag Bnei Odom is to do Shleimim. And that is the Shloshim Yom. Let's continue in the Gemara. The Gemara says, right in the Voron base, we learned, Leimek et Anoin, Ad Melois Hayomim. So the Gemara says, in the Voron base, Ad Melois Hayomim, says the Gemara, Shleiman, Imiut Yomim, Shnayim. Yomim, Shnayim. Talmud lo yimar, Kodosh, Iye, Gadel, Pera, Ein Gidul Seyo, Pochois, Mishloishim, Divrei Rabbi Yashua. Rabbi Yonason Oimer, Ein Tzorich. Why? Arei Oimer, Ad Melois Hayomim. Ye'elu ein Yomim shetzrichim lemalos, which one of them? Eve Yoimer, Shloishim. My love, Masechet Doma Rabbi Yishua, Father Doma Rabbi Yochanan. That means the Gemara wants to defend the machloikas of Barpade and Ramasne and the machloikas Tanoim of Rabbi Yashua and Rabbi Yonason. Ramasne Al Tazri Rabbi Yishua, Rabbi Yonason. Ramasne Al Tazri Rabbi Yashua. That the din of Stam Nazirus is from Gadel Pera. And what's a Gadel Pera? Ein Gidul Pera, Pochosh Mishloishim. Barpade Al Tazri Rabbi Yonason, that learns the din of Stam Nazirus from Ad Melois Hayomim. And Yomim Hatzrichim Lemalos, and that means Yemei HaChodesh. And Yemei HaChodesh is sometimes a Moli, sometimes a Chos. So that means sometimes also 29 days. Markesh, why we want to be the toilet the Machlokes? Rabbi Yonason says Mefurish the number 30. How you could think that what? He thinks that the Nazir says Choftes Yom, like Barpade. Why? Why do you think no, he doesn't be Barpade? He says Mefurish that it says 30 days. He says Mefurish is 30 days. Elamai. Right? The Gemara also, later on, the Gemara is doing this tzliya in the Machlokes, right? Because the Gemara says, no, Omar Locha, Masne, Kula Al Meshloishim Beinim. Everyone agrees that you need Shloishim Yom. And what's the Machlokes over here? Okay, Ad Bichlal, Rabbi Yashua Sovar Ad, Lo Ad Bichlal, and Rabbi Yonason Sovar Ad Ve'ad Bichlal. That means Ramaseh says that what? I can accept also the limud Rabbi Yonason. This what? Rabbi Yonason learns Ad Ve'ad Bichlal. And that's why, the opinion of Rabbi Yonason, you don't need the limud of Gadel Pera. Yes, but he's masking that Stam Nazir to Shloishim Yom. And the Gemara doesn't say also Why we can't answer also the few Shitas Barpada? Let's say that also the few Barpada I could learn the Shita of Rabbi Ashi. Why not? So Toyses says that the few Barpada, Vada Itanoi, as I Toyses. Why? Why you can't find between the Shitas? So we have to understand what's the limud of the Tanoim. When Rabbi Ashi learns the limud, what is limud? Where does his limud come from? His limud comes from the sale. That's the Nazir, right? He brings the tzad of the Nazirus. So for sure, you cannot fit with the shita of Balpade. The limud of Rabbi Yonason is Yemei HaChodesh. Yemei HaChodesh, you can explain Yemei HaChodesh in two different ways. Mitzad Echad, the more understood in the beginning, that is the days where the Chodesh comes to Chodesh Molei, right? That's Sechim Lemalos. And now they are not Malay, because it's only 29. This could fit very good if you are part of that says that more that in Nazirus we have a missing of 30 days. We have only 29 days. And that's why also Rabbi Yonason says that the Nazirus is Shloishim Yoim. That means the day, the Shloishim Yoim is with the 30th day, the Yoim Haba Sakorbonis. Sure. Okay. Very, very bekitz and Nimrods. Let's understand the Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi over here, the sheet of Yerushalmi is the Yerushalmi over here, Perek Aleph, Halacha Gimel. The Yerushalmi is done, what's the Mekor Adin and of Stam Nazir Shloshim Yoim? And the Yerushalmi brings also two limudim, as we bought. There wasn't enough Geminah. So the Yerushalmi goes into it, wasn't enough Geminah, but then the Yerushalmi brings more limudim. Whether we know that Stam Nazir Shloshim Yoim or it's not mentioned in the Bab. And the Yerushalmi mentioned, when we talk about the limudim, the Yerushalmi mentions this. Ve'is the boy nishma'ine min hoche. It means some want to learn the limud Stam Nazir Shloshim Yoim from the following apostle. Ubochsor estovio ve'esimo yach yomim. Ma yomim shenemar le'alon shloishim. Af yomim shenemar kan shloishim. Vayomim rishonim yiblu. Yerushalmi has a very interesting Mekor. Yerushalmi brings the Mekor, the din of a Gzera Shova, was stayed by Isha Sifas Toyar. Before she goes in to marry her husband, right? She has to make Galeach, Roishot, Siporneo, to cry, Vochses Tovio, Vesimo, Yerach Yomi, 30 days. And we see that the din of Nazirus Stam is 30 days. Lichoyer, what's the Gzera Shova, the word? Vayomim, right? Vayomim Rishonim Yiplu. That's the day. That's the only place where it says within the Parsha the word the Yom Mole. Yeah. Some say that the common aid over there means that the limud of Hayomim is from the word Hayomim, or say Ad Melois Hayomim. And over there's a Hayomim is a choser. It's without a Hey Yud Mem. It's without the thing. Even though it's a choser, and this is a fakir that the Mekor of Rav Yoshi and side the limud Ramasna is also the same limud. Okay. Anyway, so we learn that from that Mekor. What's the pshat? What's the pshat that the limud has a kesher to the Nazirus, so the Isha Sifas Toyar? What's the connection? So what's the point of a Isha Sifas Toyar? The point of a Isha Sifas Toyar is that to disconnect her, no, from anything what she was till now, and now she starts another thing. What is a Nazirus? Nazirus is to disconnect and bemis to turn right Kodesh Yeh Gadel Perasarosh. This connection is minimum 30 days. Less than that is not going to be good enough. 30 days. Oh, now how long you have to do this? To disconnect yourself from things. That's right. It has to be 30 days. Maybe you think. Okay. Another Mekor. When we find the Yerushalmi, the Gemara brings us like the Yerushalmi brings us ve'is the nashmeine min ocher. Some want to learn it from a different place. Ve'ayomim harishonim iplu kitomei nizroi yomim shehutru. What is shehutru? Sheitiron Moshe ubeis dinoi ve'ein pochus b'shloishim. What was the slimut? What's the slimut? First of all, it's very shver the slimut. First of all, we don't understand how can we learn from Vayom Rishonim on Stam Nazirus, right? Because Vayom Rishonim, what's talking about Vayom Rishonim? Right? Vayom Iplu, right? And if there says Iplu is not like but we reach on your macho, and we can see many sugyas later on, right? Second of all, Moshe Beis Din ma kesher. From there, the Korban Eidah brings two different perushim. One, that this is Allah for Moshe and Beis Din in Sinai, that ain't the Nazirus Bochus Milamed, as you said. That's the pshat. Moshe Beis Din, that means it's Allah for Moshe Sinai. Allah for Moshe Beis Din in Sinai, and right, Allah for Moshe Sinai, and you don't need. So if now, it's a little bit schwer because if it's Allah for Sinai, you don't need Vayom Rishonim. It's massive from the Yerushalmi. We learn it out from Vayom Rishonim, and then if it's Allah for Sinai, you don't need Vayom Rishonim. And that's the lesson of Moshe Beis Din. That's flat. We say Allah for Moshe Sinai. We never find the lesson of Beis Din, right? So says the Korban Eidah, another pshat, that these are the days that Moshe and Beis Din were koveya. What's that? What was Moshe Beis Din koveya? Chodesh. And you koveya the kiddush hachodesh al pi Beis Din. Again, what's the connection of Vayom Rishonim? I must say to them. And what's the connection of Vayom Rishonim to them? The Bnei Moshe says a different pshat. The Bnei Moshe says, Horishonim. He says what we dash from it. That Tiron Moshe leElazar uleIsomo b'nei Aaron nechsiv Rosheichem al tifru Stam pera 30 yom. And look the thing. That means the mekor that Stam Nazir 30 yom is from the Kohanim. Steht by the Kohanim Rosheichem al tifru, and they have to have a haircut lefachot once every 30 days. We learn out from a Nazir that was the state verkehrt. By a Nazir state gadei pera that he has to not have a haircut 30 days. And that's the Mekor that Stam Nazirus is Lamed Yom. I didn't learn the Pnei Moshe, the Pshat. Yeah. Oh, forget, this is going to be the shayla what the Alan asked before, and for the moment time, he's definitely Zion, right? Because over there, the limud is Punkt Verkehrt. Shloishim Yom, we learn after that the Choiva for the haircut for the Koyani, we learn after Shloishim Yomim that takes the Nazir Stam. Punkt Verkehrt, what we're learning over here. Okay. Yerushalmi, the Pnei Moshe. The Beis Din is Elazar veIsomo b'nei Aaron. This is the Beis Din of Moshe. So the Pnei Moshe, he is learning it from the drasha from the word Orishonim. What means Orishonim? That was mentioned beforehand. Yeah, the pshat, the Rishonim is the tzivui of the Kohanim. What's mentioned in Parshas Shmini, we just learned now, right? Achrei Mois, Noda ve'Avihu, and before it's brought down the Parsha of Nazir in the Torah Rishonim, before it's brought down the Parsha in the Torah, and we understand Moshe Beis Din, the tzivut of the Kohanim is from Moshe. Vayomer Moshe l'Aaron l'Azor Yisrael b'nei Banav, Mosheichem tifru, v'gdeichem tifru, v'lo yitamusu, and Mosheichem and the pasuk vayasu kidvar Moshe Beis Din, right? And this is the Yisrael Yain the Kohanim. It doesn't say. It says there directly to the Kohanim. Right? It doesn't say it's verkehrt. We're not going. Okay. And actually, the Torah Tmima, also in Parshas Nosson, he also brings the same thing. He brings the Yerushalmi, and he adds on it. He brings also Sifri Zuta. He brings over there that Rabbi Akiva says over there, Ayom Sheni Iplu, Shegozu Arishonim 30 Yom. What means the thing? So he learns that Rabbi Akiva, what Shegozu Arishonim is the Ksei of Moshe Aaron. Moshe on the Kohanim to have a haircut for 30 days. As I learned the Torah Tmima. Now, if we take this, okay, so if we take this, we're going to finish over here, but if we're going to explain this limud, that we look at the hair of the Nazir. So it's very similar to what we learned in the Bavli, the Rabbi Yashi and our Sugya. And he learns out the Sugya, where does Rabbi Yashi learn Stam Nazir on the Pasuk? Gadei Pera. But if we look at the similarity between the Nazir and the Kohanim, we learn of something else. The mitzvah's giluach by a Kohanim, it's a mitzvah always. Right? It's a mitzvah tmidish. Not like Yeshish Shifas Toya. That's once. The mitzvah of the Kohanim never ends. Right? It's a mitzvah Yisuro Ilam. And Nazir, the Kehunah, it's Yeshish Shifas Toya. It's not Yisuro Ilam. It's only 30 days. So if we going out to the Limud Yerushalmi, that the Mekor is a Gidon Sale and Nazir. So we could also have two avonis. Is it something that's always we medamet koyanim, and we call it zman nekodeh, or we look at it as the limud from Yifas Toya, it's only zman mitzaref. And the two avonis, what we learn in the Bavli, the Yerushalmi, we can learn in both of them. Okay, so this should be about Stam Nazirus Lamed Yoy. We saw many mekoyres. Fine, a kosher for Lashon Pesach for everyone. I go to Koyach and Mel Hashem. Next month we'll start the next mission.
Yashkach.
You're welcome.